Good afternoon. Very warm welcome to this weekly virtual media briefing. Without further ado, let me start off with a brief announcement, and after which we'll take some questions. Today, India and the United Kingdom held consultations on the United Nations. This was held in New Delhi at the Joint Secretary level. Both sides briefed each other on the respective priorities in the Council. Discussions focused on issues relating to the agenda of the UN Security Council, particularly counterterrorism, peacekeeping, working methods of the UN Security Council's sanctions committees, and reform of the UN Security Council. They also exchanged views on the current regional and global developments. We are issuing a formal press release shortly after this presser. Kshitij, over to you for the questions.
So the first set of questions is on Ukraine. Praveen Gautam from Newspoint TV is asking, यूक्रेन और रूस के बीच बढ़ते तनाव का भारत पर क्या असर पड़ेगा? बताया जा रहा है कि भारत के 22,000 से अधिक विद्यार्थी यूक्रेन में इंजीनियरिंग और मेडिकल की पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं। इस संदर्भ में वहां के भारतीय दूतावास की ओर से क्या ताज़ा अपडेट सामने आ रहे हैं? दीपक रंजन फ्रॉम पीटीआई भाषा, यूक्रेन के मुद्दे पर रूस अमेरिका के बीच टकराव की ताज़ा स्थिति पर मंत्रालय की क्या प्रतिक्रिया है? अनीश फ्रॉम एशियानेट न्यूज़ इज आस्किंग, as per reports in US media, the Biden administration has reached out to India in its quest for extra fuel for its European partners in case Russia-Ukraine conflict breaks out. What is your response? We have similar questions from Kavita Joshi from Haribhumi, Madhurendra from News Nation, and Sudhi from Bloomberg.
Thanks, Kshitij. There are two parts to that question. Let me take the first one first, which are mostly in Hindi. जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, संयुक्त राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा परिषद ने 31 जनवरी को इस मुद्दे पर एक बैठक रखी थी, जिसके दौरान भारत ने एक स्टेटमेंट दिया था जिसमें हमारा नज़रिया, हमारे व्यू पॉइंट पेश किया गया था। मेरे पास इससे आगे कुछ कहने के लिए अभी है नहीं। मैं केवल ये याद दिलाना चाहूँगा कि हमने इस क्षेत्र में और उसके बाहर दीर्घकालिक शांति और स्थिरता के लिए रचनात्मक बातचीत के माध्यम से सभी पक्षों की चिंताओं को हल करने के लिए ईमानदार और निरंतर राजनयिक प्रयासों द्वारा स्थिति को शांतिपूर्ण समाधान का आह्वान किया है। As regards the issue of the LNG supplies that you alluded to, we have seen some media reports, but we are not aware of any such request.
Siddhant from Vion is asking, Chinese media reports that Chief Abao is a torchbearer in the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics torch relay. Chief Abao was involved in the Galwan clashes, which resulted in loss of lives on both sides. By doing this, it seems the Chinese side has politicized Olympics. What is India's reaction? Abhishek from Republic TV is asking, China is seen to be politicizing Olympics using Galwan clash here despite wanting rest of the world not to do so. Would the MEA react? We have similar questions from Shankar Kumar from India vs. Disinformation, Madhurendra from News Nation, Chandrakala from ETV Bharat, Sandeep Dikshit from Tribune, Ranjana from UNI, and Manish Bhuyan from PTI.
Yes, we have seen the reports on this issue. It is indeed regrettable that the Chinese side has chosen to politicize an event like the Olympics. I wish to inform that our charge d'affaires of the Embassy of India in Beijing will not be attending the opening or the closing ceremony of the Beijing 22 Winter Olympics. I think I'll stop at that.
Maha from CNN News 18 is asking, the family of the youth from Arunachal who was allegedly abducted by the PLA says he was mistreated in custody. Has the youth undergone proper medical examination on return? Was he abducted or did he stray into the Chinese side? His family refutes the fact that he strayed or got lost. Uma Shankar from NDTV India is asking, अरुणाचल प्रदेश के युवक मिराम तारोन को लेकर आधिकारिक स्थिति क्या है? क्या उसे अगवा किया गया था या वो भटक कर चीन के कब्जे वाले इलाके में चला गया था और वहां पीएलए के हाथों पकड़ लिया गया? क्या भारत को सुपुर्द करने से पहले उसे बिजली का झटका देकर टॉर्चर किया गया है? We have similar questions from Suhasini from The Hindu and Shankar Kumar from India vs. Disinformation.
Thanks, Kshitij. Regarding the issue, let me confirm that we have taken up the matter with the Chinese side. As regards the other details, this issue, you would recall, was handled through military channels, and I would refer you to the Ministry of Defense on other elements. But from the Ministry of External Affairs, I would like to just reconfirm that we have taken up the matter with the Chinese side.
Abhishek from Republic TV is asking, would the MEA react to the report which shows China might have lost more soldiers than it admitted in Galwan clash? Ranjana from UNI is asking, an Australian report has said that the Chinese deaths during the Galwan clash were much higher than reported. What does India say to that?
Look, I think this is a question that the relevant side should respond to.
Nimish Kumar from IANS is asking, yesterday EAM replied to a point raised in Parliament debate about China-Pakistan. In light of that, please provide details of China-Pakistan bilateral relationship. Are China and Pakistan getting closer post-2014, or have they been in close ties for last 6 decades, precisely since 1963? नीरज कुमार फ्रॉम न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया इज आस्किंग, राहुल गांधी ने कहा है कि पीएम मोदी के निष्प्रभावी विदेश नीति की वजह से चीन और पाकिस्तान करीब हुए हैं. इस मसले पर विदेश मंत्रालय का क्या कहना है? वी हैव सिमिलर क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम प्रणय फ्रॉम एबीपी न्यूज़, मधुरेंद्र फ्रॉम न्यूज़ नेशन एंड श्रिंजॉय फ्रॉम टाइम्स नाउ.
Thanks, Kshitij. Look, I think EM's tweets are self-explanatory. This issue, he had issued a series of tweets after the discussion in Parliament, and I don't have anything to add to them.
दीपक रंजन फ्रॉम पीटीआई भाषा इज आस्किंग, चीन के साथ पूर्वी लद्दाख गतिरोध पर ताज़ा स्थिति क्या है? सैन्य स्तर की वार्ता के लिए क्या कोई तिथि तय हुई है?
जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, वरिष्ठ कमांडरों की बैठक पिछले महीने आयोजित किया गया था. दोनों पक्ष इस बात पर सहमत हुए थे कि बाकी मुद्दों को जल्द से जल्द समाधान से पश्चिमी क्षेत्र के एलएसी पर शांति बहाल करने में मदद मिलेगी और द्विपक्षीय संबंधों में प्रगति को सक्षम बनाया जा सकेगा. कमांडरों की वार्ता का अगला दौर जल्द से जल्द होने पर भी सहमति बनी थी. मेरे पास इस तरह की बातचीत के लिए तारीख पर कोई अपडेट अभी नहीं है.
Suhasini from The Hindu is asking, New York Times correspondent has said in an interview that he has confirmed from Israeli sources that Indian intelligence agencies purchased the Pegasus program during Prime Minister Modi's visit in 2017. Do you have any response? Maha from CNN News 18 is asking, what is the MEA's response to the NYT report linking the purchase of Pegasus by India to India's stand at the United Nations? Deepak Ranjan from PTI Bhasha is asking, इजरायली सॉफ्टवेयर पेगासस और भारत इजरायल हथियार सौदे को लेकर दिल्ली न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स की रिपोर्ट पर मंत्रालय की क्या प्रतिक्रिया है?
The alleged matter that has been referred to is under investigation by a committee set up by the Honorable Supreme Court. No information is available with the Ministry of External Affairs on this matter. As regards Prime Minister's visit to Israel in 2017, 7 memorandum of understandings were signed, the details of which are publicly available.
Chandrakala from ETV Bharat is asking, can you confirm when will EM Jaishankar be visiting Australia for the annual Quad Foreign Ministers Summit? What will be the agenda of the meeting? Sandeep Dikshit from Tribune is asking, during EM Jaishankar's expected Australia visit from February 10 for Quad Summit, is the report of working groups set up earlier likely to be submitted and evaluated? We have similar questions from Sudhi from Bloomberg, Maha from CNN News 18.
Thanks. You would recall that the Quad foreign ministers last met virtually in February 2021. The next meeting is expected to be held later this month in Melbourne. We hope to share an update on this with you soon.
Suhasini from The Hindu is asking, please confirm whether all procedures for allowing transit for Indian wheat for Afghanistan have been cleared by Pakistan now, and if any date for departure of convoys is known. Deepak Ranjan from PTI Bhasha is asking, भारत द्वारा अफगानिस्तान को मानवीय सहायता प्रदान करने की पहल के तहत पाकिस्तान के रास्ते अफगानिस्तान को गेहूं एवं अन्य सहायता की आपूर्ति संबंधी तिथियां क्या तय हो गई हैं? गेहूं की आपूर्ति कब से शुरू होगी और कब तक पूरी हो जाएगी? वी हैव सिमिलर क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम सिद्धांत फ्रॉम वियॉन, राजेश फ्रॉम कांतिपुर मीडिया ग्रुप, मुनीश गुप्ता फ्रॉम पीआईओ टीवी, नैनिमा फ्रॉम द प्रिंट, and Ranjit from Rakshit News.
Look, as we have said earlier, a government is committed to extending humanitarian assistance to the people of Afghanistan. We have been sharing information about shipment of medicines and vaccines. The process to procure the wheat and to arrange its transportation is still underway. We will share with you updates as soon as we have them, and I will try to get back to you.
Siddhant from Vion is asking, Rupees 200 crores aid has been announced in the budget for Afghan people. India hasn't recognized the Taliban government, so is there any messaging in that?
We've always underlined our deep friendship with the people of Afghanistan and have been working to address their concerns. This budgetary provision that has been referred to helps us provide humanitarian assistance as and when required.
Sanjay from Arab News is asking, on Wednesday, some Afghan students who got Indian scholarship protested in front of the Indian embassy in Kabul, demanding Indian visa to travel to India. How does New Delhi plan to address their concerns, considering the fact that they are losing their crucial academic time?
Look, as we've been saying, we have been, stressing on our friendship with the Afghan people. But the specific issue on visa, I would have to refer you to the Ministry of Home Affairs.
So Hasni from The Hindu is asking, has there been any progress since last week on plans to discuss air route for pilgrims with Pakistani officials?
This issue had come up last week, and as we had mentioned then, visits by pilgrims to religious shrines from both sides are governed by the 1974 bilateral protocol between India and Pakistan, and such visits are being facilitated regularly. During the year 2021, visits by more than 3,500 pilgrims were facilitated under the protocol. The last such visit from India was from December 17 to 23rd to Sri Katasraj Dham in Chakwal, Pakistan. The last visit from Pakistan was organized from December 18 to 25 to Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia in New Delhi. Such visits are being facilitated on an annual basis, subject to COVID-19 related restrictions. We have noted an interest on both sides to expand the agreed list of such shrines and the mode of travel. This would need to be mutually agreed under the protocol. We have sent an official response to Pakistan recommending that given the current restrictions on movement and gatherings in view of COVID-19 pandemic, the two sides can use this time to hold discussions under the bilateral protocol.
Sandeep Dikshit from Tribune is asking, does MEA have a view on Pakistan's allegations of India being instrumental in blocking confirmation of a former Pakistan-occupied president as ambassador designate to US?
So it's preposterous to blame a third country for the delay in the appointment of an ambassador of one country to another.
Anish from Asianet News is asking, Pakistani businessman Mia Mansha claimed that the backdoor diplomacy with India is underway and said that Prime Minister Modi could visit Pakistan in a month's time. What would be your response?
We don't respond to such comments by private individuals.
Nainima from The Print is asking, has India responded to Pakistan on its SAARC invitation?
I recall that we had responded to this query last month. There has been no update in the matter, nor a material change in the situation.
Siddhant from Vion is asking, Canada's truckers have protested in the capital. Any comments by MEA over the development?
We have seen reports in this regard. I don't have anything for you at this moment.
Nimish Kumar from IANS is asking, on the front of economic diplomacy, how does MEA support concerned ministries to boost India's exports, which is now the main focus of PM and was in Union Budget 2022? Is there any inter-ministerial joint task force for this purpose?
We attach the highest priority to economic diplomacy. The ministry, as well as our missions and posts abroad, work closely with the concerned line ministries to boost our exports, attract investments, encourage technology transfer, and promote innovation opportunities. MEA has been giving utmost importance to economic diplomacy and the promotion of 3 T's: trade, technology, and tourism, as outlined by Honorable Prime Minister. In particular, we are working to achieve the target of US dollars 400 billion of merchandise exports for the year 2021-22. The commercial wings of our missions are proactive and serve as the first point of contact abroad. In Delhi, there is regular interministerial coordination. I think that gives a flavor of what we are discussing. I don't think this presser would provide more time to discuss an important issue like this in further detail.
Nimish is also asking, Government of India decided to take action against websites that continuously publish anti-India content with false narratives and fake news. Even UN Department of Global Communications has started a campaign against misinformation. Has MEA made requests to the nations regarding this from where such anti-India content is being generated? Please provide details.
Look, the issue of content that is not in consonance with our laws is not a foreign policy matter, and I would refer you to the relevant department on this.
Rajesh from Kantipur Media Group is asking, Nepal has offered to buy fertilizer with India on G2G basis. The agreement was reached at the secretary level of the respective ministries of the two countries in September last year. How soon can an agreement be reached between India and Nepal on the sale and purchase of fertilizer?
I understand that this issue has been agreed upon by both sides, but I will need to check on the next steps that are involved.
Suchitra from News 18 Tamil is asking, MOS V. Muralidharan recently responded in Rajya Sabha that the India and Sri Lanka are in consultations for convening 5th round of joint working group meeting at the earliest. Also, MEA obtained the participants list from the Fishermen Association from state government last month. So has the 5th joint working group of fisheries been scheduled? If so, when and who all will be taking part?
There is a joint working group on fisheries bilaterally with Sri Lanka. This JWG is at the level of the fisheries secretaries and is held with the participation of all stakeholders. The 4th JWG meeting was held virtually in December 2020. As was mentioned, the 5th JWG is to be held and the dates for the same are being worked out. We will share with you updates as soon as we have them.
Praveen Gautam from Newspoint TV is asking, वित्तीय संकट से जूझ रहे श्रीलंका को भारत ने अब तक किन समझौतों के साथ आर्थिक सहायता प्रदान की है? इस बारे में ताज़ा अपडेट्स क्या हैं?
हमने पिछले हफ्ते कहा था, जैसा कि हमने कहा था, $400 मिलियन अमेरिकी डॉलर के सार्क करेंसी स्वैप सुविधा को बढ़ा दिया गया है और 515.2 मिलियन अमेरिकी डॉलर के एशियन क्लियरिंग यूनिट निपटान को 2 महीने के लिए टाल दिया गया है. इसके अलावा भारत से ईंधन की खरीद के लिए एक और $500 मिलियन LOC भी दी गई है, जिसको कुछ ही दिनों पहले साइन भी किया गया. अगर और कोई भी और अपडेट हो तो हम आपके साथ साझा करेंगे.
Munish Gupta from PIO TV is asking, Rwanda and Commonwealth have announced the week of 20th June 2022 as the new date agreed with member countries for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. Has India planned any special agenda or announcement? When does India take over as the rotating head of Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting to host the summit? He is also asking, will India offer vaccines to needy Commonwealth nations?
It's got multiple things. Let me just say that details of such high-level events are announced at the appropriate time. I'm not aware of any details about future heads of CHOGM. As regards export of vaccines, as I had mentioned last week, details of our supplies are being updated on the ministry's website on a regular basis, and please do have a look at that.
Nanima from the print is asking, what is the status of holding the pending US-India 2+2 talks?
As we have said before, our dialogue and engagement with the US have been intense and regular. We look forward to holding the next 2+2 ministerial meeting with the United States of America, and the details are still being worked out.
Madhurendra from News Nation is asking, भगोड़े कारोबारी नीरव मोदी, माल्या और मेहुल चौकसी मामले में ताज़ा अपडेट क्या है?
हमारे पास कोई स्पेसिफिक अपडेट इस हफ्ते नहीं है. हम सभी मामलों केसेस पर निगरानी रखे हुए हैं ताकि भगोड़ों को न्यायिक प्रक्रिया के लिए भारत वापस लाया जा सके. अगर इसमें कोई अपडेट हो तो हम ज़रूर आपसे साझा करेंगे.
Ranjana from UNI is asking, is there any further news on the status of the 7 Indian sailors on board the UAE flagged ship that the Houthis have seized? Has there been any further movement on their release?
We had shared some information on this last week. Since then, the physical access to the crew has not been made available, including through the UN mission in Hodeidah. We remain in touch with various sources, including through our embassies in the region. We do know that the captors allowed one of the Indian sailors to speak with his wife. I think it was on January 28. The sailor told his wife that all the crew members are safe. We will continue to monitor this case, and if there are updates, we will share with you.
I have no further questions, sir.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this special virtual media briefing. I would reiterate that please follow our social media handles as well as the website for the latest updates. Thank you again for joining us today. Good evening. Namaskar.